Welcome back everyone to Camp Redwood again this week for a spoiler-filled review talking about Season 9, Episode 3 of American Horror Story 1984. If you guys have missed my previous two episode reviews, make sure to go check those out up above or down below, wherever I decide to put them. And of course, if you guys are new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And also, of course, make sure to comment down below, because my favorite thing with each of these episodes is getting to interact with you guys, seeing what your theories are, what your guys' plans are, and in general, what you guys thought of the whole entire episode. So make sure, again, comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on any sort of these videos. And of course, at the end of the season, I will be ranking every single American Horror Story season from worst to best. For a little bit of background history, I have not been on board with the last two seasons of American Horror Story. They've been a little bit too hard for me to get in. And as with these TV reviews, I'm a little bit more laid back, a little bit more chill, just talking with you like you're right in front of me so we can have a nice conversation as I'm ranting off about what's going on in this episode. This is going to be a fun episode to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get started. Episode 3 of Season 9, this was kind of the one that I said, alright, you have me on board, but we gotta get more into the story than just people dying. And we're gonna get to that damn ending, because holy crap, I'm gonna kind of go recapping through the big moments throughout the whole episode until we landed that specific moment. So, yeah, the Darwin boy getting cut up, Ray, whatever he's saying all this Darwin speech, and pretty badass kid. Yes, I don't know all the names particularly that well, and I don't really want to do the research, because to be honest, if I was just talking like a normal person, that's how I'm reviewing the show. And pretty much the pretty badass attacks him, pushes him against the wall, saves the Darwin boy, and you know, it was actually a pretty funny thing how he was mentioning like Darwin and stuff. I'm like, you're stupid, dude. You're stupid. You deserve to die, Ray. It was also funny how like it also flashed back to the other one, and Mr. Jingles throws a bag of dog shit through it on fire, and it just turns out to be a bunch of kids just trying to scare them, which is dumb. And then Mr. Jingles comes up and slits both their throats. And that's where I'm going to kind of get into this, is I hope they don't just kind of like have people randomly showing up throughout the episode, or like randomly explaining why they're there, like the nurse later on, which we will get to. And I'm just like, you're using them as ploys to kill and not really kill the main characters. And of course, we saw towards the end of this episode that a motherfucker died in this episode. Finally, one of the main characters died, which was Ray. He died in a very gruesome way, which we will talk about as we're going through. As they're running, Ray and the pretty boy starts running through, boom, 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 hits the trap, falls in the pit, goes straight through his shoulder. Now, any sort of thing that ever happens like that in a horror movie or a thriller, I just like my hand, like I start gripping it like this and start moving it like back and forth really fast, because I get pretty nervous during this moments, because it looks really gruesome, and the way that they had that whole contraption go about is unique. And also, when Mr. Jingles is walking through looking for his next victim, he sees the other guy dressing up as him and leaves him alone. And I think it shows some emotion, which is very good in what this actor can do. John Carroll Lynch, who's playing Mr. Jingles, he was really good as the clown a couple seasons ago back at it in Freak Show. And he's always been really good with showing such expressive emotions and subtlety within any of the roles. And he's really good in Mr. Jingles' role as well. Also, can we talk about how the show does such a good job of pacing this? Some American Horror Story seasons have had very slow build-ups, very slow seasons, where I'm just like, okay, we're just meandering here. And I've always had that issue with this show, that when I look back, I'm like, I had to cut it like 3 episodes down. It would have been such a better season. But that's the thing where I'm getting with this, is that so far, like, I don't really want this show to end. Like, we are on episode 3, and there's 10 episodes this season, and we still have a further more to go, and they're already revealing a lot of stuff, and I hope it can still keep up this momentum, because the pacing is very structured in this one. This is one of the first seasons that I'm, like, actually getting into, and maybe it's just because I have kind of a soft spot for slashers and kind of camp settings when it comes to horror stuff. And I know maybe not everyone's kind of feeling it out just like I am, but I might be in the minority on this one for all I know. But a lot of you commenters have been saying that you guys like it. Can we just say we fucking knew it? I knew the nurse was in on it. It was really weird, like how she was talking, the mannerisms that she gave. They gave a couple hints here and there. And I know a commenter actually a couple weeks ago said, I think Nurse Rita has some issues. And you are completely right. Her name is Chambers, and what was it? She was talking, like, you kind of knew even the way that she was talking, especially when she was looking for the keys. Oh, found my keys. Really? You found your keys that fast? Of course, what it did after the commercial break, which, who loves commercials? I don't, but I love what it did. I love when this show actually, and this season in particular, flashes back to show some character progression and where these characters are coming from. And when it goes to her, how she's talking to the therapist in charge of Jingles that we already saw die earlier this season, Jingles is now talking to Chambers. It's actually very intriguing and kind of like a more mellow version of Mindhunters. If you've never seen Mindhunters and you really like that discussion they had, it has a lot of stuff like that. Is Chambers actually studying, or is it all bullshit? Is there more to it than just that? And I always love how, like, in a lot of American Horror Story seasons, they always have so many other characters, have so many other things going on, which is always the fun parts of it. And that's one of the other things, is we knew there was going to be someone bullshitting in here who was a part of it, and Nurse Rita, or whatever the hell she wants to call herself, ended up being the bullshitter, with one other character to come down the road also being a bullcrapper. I really like the flashbacks for the season, especially when it went to Ray's flashback. That was a unique flashback, and how it said how his character reacts, which really opens up the door for why his character does all the things he does. Abandoning his friend, abandoning Billy Lord's character, gets on the bike, and Mr. Jingle goes bada 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 swing, cuts his head off right off, and he's the first main character to go out in a glorious kill. Which actually goes back to say that I'm actually a fan of how they're doing all these characters. I'm actually intrigued with each and every character inside the show, and it's unique in that part that the show is structured like that. Also, I know I already skipped ahead to Ray dying by Mr. Jingle's bada swing, but the way he killed that Nurse Rita, the actual Nurse Rita, was glorious. Now, I love when they show some big kills. Now, I was kind of disappointed when he shoved the pole down her mouth, and I was like, oh, they didn't show it. Then they show the aftermath. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty messed up. Talking about brutal, when they jumped down to get our friend off that spike, I was sitting there again, my hands gripping, I'm twitching, I'm like, I was like, fuck, that's like pulling a Band-Aid, but like 10 times worse. Some of you guys actually had like parents when you were younger, just like pull it off like a Band-Aid, just rip it off real fast, and that's kind of the best way to do it to get through the pain. My parents were like the only ones that said that, but maybe if you did too, comment down below and let me know. And of course, when we saw Mr. Jingles, the other Mr. Jingles walking around the pit, we knew they were going to push him in. Like, and we knew it wasn't going to be the real Mr. Jingles. Like, I knew that was going to happen. I was kind of like, that's a little bit too predictable, but damn. Sucks, and I wonder how they're going to handle that. That's actually how every episode ends really well, is that they end each group of characters in a certain predicament that we don't know. Emma Roberts kind of didn't have much to do in here, but Nurse, whatever the fuck her name is, drugged her, and we don't know where she's at. Doesn't have her legs moving anymore. Mr. Jingles is now surrounding them, killed Ray right at the end. And, Billy Lord, can we talk about this? Billy Lord! That ending! Makes out with the Devil's Due. Talk about how Billy Lord made out with this Devil's Due Satan man, and it turned out that he and her, he was like, she says right at the end, how have you not killed her yet? Oh my god, like, we knew something. And I love Billy Lord. I love her to death. But how can you do that for me? How can you do that for me? And I'm so curious to hear what your guys' theories on this. Why is it? I'm gonna go back to that wedding. I think she had something to do, and I actually think she had a thing with the guy originally, or maybe like a brother or something, to the guy that, you know, was like the best friend of her who died by her ex-husband, and I think that's something that has to go with that, and she is blaming her for that, and I think she knew about it beforehand. She's playing kind of coy to it, and I love how Billy Lord portrays that. That was an awesome ending, and this is the episode that I actually wanted from American Horror Story. I wanted to delve deeper in this, start revealing some twists, start revealing cool little pinpoints. You can't just do teenagers dying at the camp every so often. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with this episode, guys. I really enjoyed this one. This one was a nice pinpoint and a nice trajectory to everything and how it's going. Next week's going to be interesting to find out why Billy Lord wants this girl dead. What is their reaction to Ray dying? I really don't care, because he was a piece of shit anyways. Mr. Jingles is still out there. Satan's man's still out there. And the way he was cutting Ray was pretty damn brutal. This show's on the edge of my seat. It's keeping me in the pacing. And again, this is one of the first American Horror Story seasons in a while that I think has had the fastest pacing out of all of them. Again, I might be in the minority, guys, but that's where we're comment down below and talk about it down there, guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for all sorts of American Horror Story content. And of course, early movie reviews over here on a daily basis. I actually just put up my Joker review last night, also early morning this year, wherever you are around the world, and I'll be posting a couple more Joker videos later this week. Thank you guys again so much for watching this. Check out Sandwich on Films. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and of course, until next time, stay classy.